Hello, my name is Dave. Now today I'm going to be doing a review slash comparison of the Panasonic Lumix G2 and the Panasonic Lumix G3, both cameras I own. Okay, let's start with the G3 and things that it is better at than the G2. 1080p video at 30 FPS. Full HD basically, compared to the G2, which is only 720p, but they both still record in very good high quality video. The G3 is also smaller, lighter, thinner, which you might expect for kind of anything that's the newer version. It is 16.1 megapixels rather than 12.1 for the G2, so there's an upgrade there. It has a more reliable touchscreen. As you may know, both of these cameras have a flip out touchscreen, but the G3 seems a little bit more responsive, a little bit more reliable when you touch it. The G3 also has a much lower starting price, which is good obviously because everyone likes a cheaper camera rather than a whatever. The build quality of the G3 I think is much better. It has a metal casing rather than a plastic casing that the G2 has. There's less shutter lag in the camera when you're taking a picture. From the moment you press down the shutter and the moment it takes the picture, there's less time than there was on the G2. With that, it has very fast autofocus, much quicker than the G2. I think it's brilliant. I love it. You can point and click pretty much anywhere and it'll focus perfectly. It also has a higher quality mic, which I'll show you in these pictures. The G2 has a very small kind of dot mic like you might find on a phone, whereas on the G3 it has dual mic and they're very high quality. Okay, so that's the good things about the G3. Let's move on to the G2. The G2 has an external microphone jack, so even though the standard one isn't as good, you can put an external one on, whereas you can't on the G3, which is a bit annoying, but you know what you can do. The G2 also has a longer battery life. That may be because the batteries are actually slightly bigger in size, because there's a lot more room in the camera. Basically, they can fit a bigger battery. There's a less startup delay on the G2, so you turn it on much quicker if you need to. If you're in a rush to take a picture, you can turn it on much quicker. It also has a larger sensor, which means the pictures, even though they're only 12.1 megapixels, they are higher quality than on the G3. Very fractional though. It's very hard to notice a difference. But you know, when you've been looking at photos for a while, you can just about see a difference. But having said that, the 16.1 megapixels makes the picture that much bigger on the G3, and overall I think the pictures are actually higher quality on the G3, even though the G2 has a larger sensor. Now, one thing that I hate about the G3 and I love about the G2 is the G2 has an automatic viewfinder sensor, which means if you put your face up to the viewfinder, it'll automatically change from showing your recordings or what you're taking on the screen to the viewfinder automatically as soon as you put your face near it. I love that feature. And after I've been using the G2 for about 2 years, I found that not having this feature on the G3 is very annoying. You have to press a button in order to change from the viewfinder to the touchscreen and vice versa. It's a nuisance when you're used to it happening automatically. Another good thing about the G2 is there is much more manual control. It's easier to find all the manual settings using the dials on the top of the camera, whereas on the G3 it is pretty much all done on the touchscreen. It's more difficult to find your options that you need, but you know, I'm sure you'll get used to it after a time. I haven't had the G3 for too long. The G2 is nicer to hold because of its larger grip. The G3 isn't as nice to hold because it's thinner. There isn't much to grip. There's a little kind of lip that you can hold onto, but it isn't much in comparison to the G2. So overall, the size of the G2 is not a bad thing. It makes the camera much nicer to hold while in use, and it also allows for the dials on top of the camera, which makes it easier to use. Whereas the G3, the performance, I feel, has been compensated due to the small size. Even though it's capable of taking higher resolution photos that are generally higher quality and higher resolution, like videos, you can do high resolution videos as well, the camera isn't as nice to use. So ratings, I'm going to give the G2 an 8 out of 10. It's very nice and easy to use, but slightly lower image quality. And the G3, 9 out of 10. It's not as easy to use as the G2, but it has very nice image quality and video quality, which, you know, isn't that what you want from a camera, really? Thanks for watching, guys. This has been a review / comparison of the Panasonic Lumix G2 and G3. Please leave your comments, rate, and please subscribe. Thank you very much.